Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerds with Dice. Tonight, we are playing Rift's Ballad of Fates, but first, just want to let you know that you can pick up some pretty good coffee if you head over to Grinding Co. Coffee. You can use the link that is in the chat and get yourself 10% off. And we have some merch that you can also pick up, and I'm working on some ideas for some new designs that'll hopefully be up soonish, and you can go check out what's there now. You can go get yourself a Ghost Fudge shirt, some logos and stuff. But I really need to come up with a actual Riffs shirt, not just a Ghost Fudge shirt. But
yeah, we'll figure it out. I haven't thought of anything good yet. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not.
It's only been a year.
It's only been a year. This is our longest running show by leagues.
Well, that's because I never let you do anything.
We do stuff.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, I think that is everything. So we're good to. I don't know. Are we announcing kobolds?
Oh yeah, this Friday I'm going to be running a game of Kobolds Ate My Babies. A fun little one-shot where babies will be eaten, kobolds will be terrors, and someone's probably gonna explode just because they failed to tie their shoes. It's that kind of game. Kobolds Ate My Babies is a hilarious, fun game that we're gonna do this Friday. And
all right,
yeah,
and it's all you.
Right. But first, thank you, Nerdy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Riffs. In this world where things exploded a couple hundred years ago with magic flooding the world, mega technology and dragons and goblins and cyber centaurs and psionic knights roam the land, attempting to forge civilization in a world still ravaged by magic. Our group of heroes has been going and trying to find the things that connect them all and the secret of the fates that bind them, and currently are attempting to prevent an ally known as Riley, who's a member of something called the Conspiracy, from being attacked or damaged in some way, as two others from the Conspiracy have recently been attacked, one of which was killed. All right, so let's go around and give quick introductions to our characters. Starting with Peppermint.
Hi everyone, I am Nerdy Teddy, and today I will be playing Peppermint, our nature mage / healer.
All right, and Starissa will be joining us a bit later. All right, let's go to Kid.
Hello, everybody. I'm Evan Jennings. I will be playing Krogahel Kid.
And what do you do? What's your general vibe?
Give me. Am a often very confused blacksmith with a heart of gold and a hammer that's often on fire, which is pretty cool.
All right, Freya.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I play Freya, who's a human spy, but she's also a Nightbane. So I also play Rohan, an 8-foot tall being with a 20-foot wingspan and a flaming sword.
All right, and Greeks.
I am Ting, and I'm playing Greeks, a amphibious goblin-looking DB sci-tech.
Okay. All right. You were in Dwemer last we left. You were gathering up some supplies, getting ready to go. You figured out that you're still ahead of I was gonna say Tirgix and the armory, who seem to be making their way towards the area you're in, or the area you're headed to, but you're getting there faster. I don't remember exactly what we left off with, but if there's anyone, you were talking with Helix, I believe.
Yes, Freya brought over 3 bottles of wine because she said it was a 3-bottle night.
Yeah.
She got a bit intoxicated It's gotten to the point Freya, when she was on Paladin, Palladium, was able to train with Rohan enough. So Rohan and her could actually be out together for a while. So Rohan actually carried Freya. I've never wanted fan art before, but it's a picture of Rohan carrying an intoxicated Freya back to the inn is just, because Rohan's now 5. So she's got to get him a birthday shake, because I think they can do a shake, with that
share
straw.
a straw, yeah. Share a malt.
Yeah. So
maybe. But is there anything else you wanted to do? You've got tickets to leave on the Lightning Express in the morning, which is the magical train that runs not to, but close to Merktown.
Just quickly change the currency from Palladium.
Yeah, you
to
swap your
credits.
currencies back to, straight up gold or straight up credits from gold coins. You don't have enough trouble that it's worth doing anything about. We've done the scene where you learned how to change money, and if this were a TV show, you'd just do a quick cut of that same building. So you don't have any real problem. I'm not going to assign you any fees because that seems like effort.
Where are we right now?
Very little resolve. You are currently in Dwemer still.
And we were heading to
Merktown,
not Pittsburgh.
No.
Right.
You
Pittsburgh
decided not to
already
go to
blew
Pittsburgh.
Because Pittsburgh already blew up. And we were like,
the attack had already happened. The main attack had already happened. The initial attack had already happened in Pittsburgh.
We're not here to help people. We're here to get something done.
We cannot rein in a fire elemental. We got talents. Those are not our.
But we want to nip this in the
Multiple.
bud, right? We want to get this. We want to get to Riley before he gets just
Yeah.
smashed by whatever this is.
Yep. So you're making your way from basically Dayton to Paducah.
And we talked to
Kentucky.
Helix. What's his name?
Helix
Yep.
is the
Helix, right?
Wolfen assistant to Exaxa.
But we never talked to Exaxa, but we don't need to, right? Because we talked to Helix.
Unless you turned in a thing that will allow you to ask Exaxa for a small to medium favor.
Maybe we should pocket that.
Yeah.
I think
see what we're up to.
That seems like something we can pull out, like when Exaxa's standing on top of the world ruling it, and we're like, hey, stop that. Maybe he'll just stop it because he owes us a favor. Maybe.
No,
okay. Wizards.
Yeah.
Said small to medium.
But I'm ruling the world. All right, so then I guess I vote Merktown. Can I re-up on my ghost fudge?
Yes, you can.
Nice.
You go to the ghost fudge shop. You stop by the forge you used.
I was gonna say, can I stop by the forge too? See the girls. Yep.
Both the sisters are glad to see you're doing well. They ask you about. What do you tell them about Palladium?
Oh man, if I stop by the sisters, I will absolutely tell them about like how I met like my clan and how like I don't get into detail with like my mom and all that, but I'm like yeah, it's real confusing. I guess technically my lineage goes to a different world, which is cool, but man, you guys would love these different kind of dwarven forging techniques. They're really interesting. Some of it is outdated for us, but also some of it is advanced in a different way, or just like it's exceptional in its own way, and they have like different kinds of ores there, and you know what I mean. So I just sort of gush about it and like tell them about it, and like I'll show them whatever and be like, watch, you know what I mean, like hit a hammer to be like, this is kind of what they do, and you know what I mean, just sort of I'm just gushing about it, super stoked about it.
Yeah. They actually tell you a little bit about themselves. They are from a different world as well. But not Palladium. They've heard of Palladium. But they are actually from a place called the United Worlds of Warlock. But they're not sure if that's the same dimension as this one, but it's definitely a different planet.
There are different dimensions?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
You've been to at least one of them. You just told us.
Oh, I don't know. I thought maybe that was like just a different Earth.
Well, that's kind of a bit of what a dimension is.
Well, like that. And I want to point up to like if in the sky we can like see the moon or something, you know,
Yeah.
sometimes during the day you can see the moon like that. Like that's just a different Earth, but it's the moon, but it's like a smaller Earth, right?
You know, generally that stuff like that is not a planet. It's just too small to be a planet. Just orbits this one.
Oh.
But sometimes people live on moons. I had a cousin who lived on one of the moons.
You had a cousin that lived on a moon?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Could he jump really high?
Gravity was much higher on that moon than it was on my home planet, so no.
Oh. So he must have been really strong when if he came off that moon.
You'd think, but no.
Really?
Spent all his time in a compensating what is it?
In a compensating environment. Yeah. I was thinking like, you know, gravity chamber. Did you guys ever see those old hollow vids of Dragon Ball Z? No.
No.
Okay. Well, they're
great.
Like
in Sailor Moon?
It is like Sailor Moon. If you liked Sailor Moon, you would like Dragon Ball Z. They're the same show.
Oh,
in every way. Just Dragon Ball Z has more screaming. No, but they transform too. They turn into magical girls also, and their hair gets really long and they get all shiny and stuff.
All right. I'm sorry to have to interrupt, but I'm having some technical issues with Zoom, so we need to go to a quick break.
Okay.
Hi, we're back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging with us through a technical difficulty that I believe you got sorted. So cool. Yeah, they talk to you about stuff. They actually invite you to, if you can get a copy, to come over and watch it. One of them invites you, and then the other one is like, "Oh, I'm free that night."
Oh yeah, I mean we. Oh, I see. Yeah, that would be awesome. Would you guys want to watch a show like that? I could bring some fudge, not the ghost fudge though, because then I don't think we'll understand what's going on. And if there's one thing you need to know about Dragon Ball Z, you have to really pay attention because it's real complex. It's real difficult to know what's going on.
Well, that is true. It is not hard to follow. Oh, it's difficult to figure out why things are happening, not what is happening. Anyway,
it's the start of a Dwarven anime club.
Yeah.
Yes. I would like to, if I have time at some point, I would like to watch Dragon. I would like to show these girls Dragon Ball Z.
You do not.
Okay, that's fine. I'll do it next time. When I come back, if I'm able to get the hollow of it, I'll come back. I'll show you guys.
I can't find their names in my notes, so moving on.
Oh, I have them.
It's fine.
Okay.
No, I've lost my other place in the notes. There it is. All right,
Yeah,
so
I lost notes.
anyone else have anything else they want to do in Dwemer before y'all leave?
Go ahead if you got something.
It's just something quick. Freya just wants to double check her messages to see if Danica said anything about Riley or anything else.
No new information. Hasn't spotted them personally, but
okay, that's all.
I probably don't know where Ivy's is in the city, do I?
You don't, but if you have Greek send out a message, you could probably set up a meet.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
All right. So you set up a meeting with Ivy at a little cafe off on the side of town. This one's called the Four Flavors. It's a kind of a gastropub.
Okay.
They use magic to do food prep, leading to things like floating beads, like peas that individually float into your mouth.
Interesting.
It's a little high end, but Ivy says that she has a friend that works there, so she can get a free table there.
Okay.
And when you show up, she's already sitting at the table. You can see that she's changed her appearance a bit. Her hairstyle's slightly different. She still has the LEDs running through it, but they're currently like off. Okay. And she's not wearing a leather jacket. She's wearing what looks to be like a North Face polar jacket, one of those big puffy ones. And she normally does like a decent, like a kind of shocking, like strong, bold makeup, but here she's a little toned down. You kind of get the impression that she's still not like, she's not in hiding. But as you come over, she greets you and says, "If anyone asks, my name is Jessica."
Jessica.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay.
How have you been?
Good. Honestly, feel like I'm getting a little whiplash from all the running around we've been doing, but good nonetheless.
Yeah, to think it's only been a couple of days.
Yeah. And how are you doing? You're good? You're safe?
Well, no one's coming after me for murder at the moment, so that's nice. But I figure if someone came after me at all, might as well just keep a lowish profile. Not make too much noise until I, need to.
Okay. That's good. I'm glad that you're being safe.
Yeah. Yeah, I know how to be quiet when I have to.
It's good. It's a good skill. One that you didn't have when we were younger, but I'm glad you picked it up.
I didn't need to be quieter when we were younger. But thank you for that compliment that you gave me.
You're welcome. Yeah, and then Peppermint will just, they'll just hang out for, a little while. And
she tells you that Esme's not over you.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for letting me know that.
I mean, she's not going to travel with you.
I know.
But if you... Now that, we've both been back and nothing terrible happened, but, the bone breakers were kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll stay away for a bit.
I'm hoping to go back after a lot of this stuff is done, but trying to focus on one problem at a time.
That's never been my strong suit.
I remember.
But yeah, so is there anything you want to know from her? Any information going forward that could help you that you think of? Because she doesn't know what you need. And you could have talked it over with others beforehand.
Yeah, is there anything anybody wants me to ask Ivy that they would have asked me to ask Ivy before I left? Like any information you think she might have?
Yeah, about the other members of the conspiracy, what happened at the pit, heard from Riley, heard from the others.
Can she get a message to them, like warning them?
And if we could, because we're right now trying to save the conspiracy, I think the more information we know about them, the better. Like, who the fuck is this guy running them? You know what I mean? Where's the one that disappeared? Can we trust that one? Is she in danger, or is she, is somebody ratting them out? You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
Is there a secondary rat?
Yeah.
All right.
Besides the first obvious one, who was a professional rat.
Yeah.
That was like his deal.
She talks a bit about Miranda, who was oh no, not Miranda. I think I've used that name for other things. Izan. Izaan.
There's a huge mosquito in this fucking room.
Is it a mosquito hunter? Is it like...
It is fucking the size of my hand.
Then it's a mosquito hunter. It's not actually a mosquito.
Thank you. You keep up the good work. Sorry, continue.
No problem. Izan is... She tells you Izan is in Housetown down in Texas on the Gulf. Sometimes she deals with some vampire shit. Sometimes she mainly deals with the Picos Empire assholes. She is not one anyone wants to fuck with. She's kind of got a temper and not afraid to use it. Always immaculately dressed, though. If you need to go down to her, I can send a message to her and Riley. I have heard from the wife, Mrs. Moorhead, whose name I don't remember, the first name I don't remember at the moment. But there it is. Nope, I don't think... I know I gave her a first name, I just can't find it. So she's helping how she can with pulling people like in town, but her husband just died and she's got a lot going on. It turns out the attack started at the foundry, but then things got real bad after the assault on the compound.
Okay.
She sent out word that it might be that might be some kind of ripple effect, but she's made sure everyone's on their toes.
All right.
And she says the seer the seer will know if something is coming for them, but him coming for him. But I guess that protection didn't extend far enough. The seer's pretty on point with a lot of this, but kind of terrifying at times. So if you go to see Riley, that's great. And if you happen to, know who's doing this and get there first, you can do something about it. She can send a message to Riley to be alert, but it'll probably get there a bit before you, so it's worth sending. But I'll let him know you're on your way.
Okay, that would be helpful.
And was there any other questions? I think that was it. I think that covered everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless you wanted to have specific questions about the conspiracy.
No, I don't think I had any specific questions about the conspiracy.
All right. So she pays for dinner with a cred. She just pays for it straight up. And on her way out, the hostess stops and gives her a little hug before your sister smiles at her, and the two of you leave.
Yep. She doesn't have, Peppermint doesn't have anything else she'd want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. You and your sister spend time laughing about shit your mom used to do and the things that family members do when they get together, even when things are tense. All right. Anyone else have a thing? Okay. Greeks.
So the morning of before we leave, I'm gonna do clairvoyance on Riley.
All right, roll your percentage on that. Once again, I've left the Rift book.
No. Got an 80.
What's your percentage up to?
I think it's in the 60s, maybe.
Okay. So you don't really get anything definite, but you don't get like a return to sender. You didn't get an absolute clue that Riley's already unable to receive messages. It's just, it's the difference between the message getting bounced or the mailer demon sending this thing no longer exists and just not getting a reply to the email. You just didn't get a reply. So you're rather sure that they're probably alive.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't get much more. All right. The next morning, you all get on the lightning rails, it's a train powered generally with elementals or demons that rides the ley lines and is a magically powered hover train. Once again, it's much like the train you were on at the start, where there's one big dining car, a couple of passenger cars, and some cargo. Once again, there's people of all types except for coalition types. This is a magic train, so coalition wouldn't send people to it. They'd try to destroy it. At some point, though, during the ride, you do hear the defensive cannons go off for a little bit, but then the conductor comes over and goes, just a little shadow demon interference. We should be on our way again shortly. Thank you for riding the lightning rails. And it takes a moment, but by the time anyone would have gotten out of their seat, you start moving again. The first stop is in, oh my god, Stormspire. All out for Stormspire. And then where is it? I lost where something is. I lost where the True Federation's capital is in my brain. It's fine because it stops there, but you don't get off. Is it Louisville? No, that's... Oh, yes, the City of Brass. All stops for the City of Brass, and then you hook another ley line down. Your train at one point runs through a fade town. Like literally through a fade town to the point where there are faded out people with a train going through them. A fade town is a town that occasionally ghosts out of existence. Sometimes they're completely invisible, but sometimes they remain slightly visible. And that's kind of eerier because everyone looks like ghosts, but they're just wherever they are, they can't really communicate except through, gestures and whatnot. You pass through one, you come down around, you swing over to the outskirts of Paducah. This is a couple miles away from Paducah. This is the Eddyville stop. You still got to make it a little bit of ways, and sometimes people try to, set up what they call toll roads, but the Tennessee, as I say, Tennessee Rangers and the Tennessee mercenary group that runs Merktown kind of try to keep that clear. So you make your way headed to Merktown. There's all kinds of people headed to Merktown. You see a lot of the non-humans and more conspicuous DBs have already departed. Most of what is headed to Merktown is human. There's a couple of what they call demon dragon mages, which they look young though. Young demon dragon mages are young until they kill a dragon and mount its head on their chest, at which point they become powerful demons. These people haven't done that. So others are kind of scared of them, but they don't seem to be a big threat. There's a guy that looks to be just wearing jean shorts, cut-off jean shorts, and a t-shirt, and a visor. He looks really tired. There's a couple other people, one or two Borgs getting off, and you make it to Merktown without any major interference.
Okay.
At some point during on the ride, Greeks is gonna sit by the window, eat have some ghost fudge, and use Ciara and just enjoy the colors for a bit.
Gotcha. Looking at that guy in jean shorts, that's a dragon. None of the Borg. One of the Borgs actually has a magic item built into their arm. But mostly it's just you see people of all types. You don't see anyone truly evil. You don't see any of the shadowy bits that you've started looking out for. Yeah. But your mind relaxes, and you know you've got some stuff coming up that might be difficult, so the rest of the train ride is pleasant. When you get there, I'm taking it you're headed straight in to Riley's place. Greeks, they do stop you and request that you leave the pod with the security, as it is a major weapon.
All right.
Let's see, they don't... One of the guards gives kids some guff about the hammer, being like, if I see you swinging that, a different kind of hammer is going to drop on you.
Only to make stuff.
Keep it that way.
Okay.
And none of you have any other major, obvious, powerful elements on you. You still haven't heard from Starissa or Jeddah, but that's not abnormal.
So,
Do they let
where do we go?
Find Riley.
Yeah.
So you make your way to Riley's junkyard. which I believe I imaginally named Riley's Junkyard.
There you go. I can see the sign in my head. Can it be called, wait, because Riley might be trying to be incognito, can it be O'Reilly's Junkyard?
No, it is the sign clearly used to say O'Reilly's,
He just knocked
but
the
he
O
knocked
off.
the O off
Nice.
and then painted Junkyard on the bottom.
Nice.
Hey, look at that.
Is it just an old O'Reilly as auto part sign that he knocked the O off of?
Absolutely.
O'Reilly's.
Nice.
He's out in the spokes, I believe. He's somewhere not great. Where's that? He's by the hub swap meet. So you can get, if you're looking to pick up anything, you can buy just about anything here. Some magic stuff, not a ton. But if you're looking for anything specific, Merktown's a good place to look for it. Excuse me. This being early on a, let's say, weekend, there's a whole ton of vendors set up at the hub swap meet and flea market, and it's busy as hell.
Is there anything that I could, like, if I take, could I work, like, I don't know, a special kind of metal into something? Like, am I allowed to forge, like, magical metals or super metal of some kind, something a little bit hardier?
You actually have the capability of doing this where many others don't. The problem is the materials tend to being extremely expensive and not something you want to carry around on you. That's the kind of thing you get for a purpose.
Oh, okay.
So you probably want to know what your end product is before you started buying the materials.
Well, I was thinking about like, I always imagine on his forearm, there's sort of like a thick kind of metal pauldron. It doesn't really do anything. It's just like a big metal lump that he can use to, like, kind of fend stuff off. I was thinking of actually making, like, a legit extendable shield that, like, if something happens, I can, like, and kind of, you know, block stuff. I feel like a shield would suit him pretty well. But if it could be, like, almost like not round, because I imagine him being a big clunky one, but the way in, like, the new God of War, the way his shield kind of like opens up, if you know what I'm talking about. It's like just a vambrace, and then it goes like, and it's like a whole Viking shield. I would just imagine his would probably be like a big square, like, lump of metal.
You can buy something similar that's mechanized that does that.
Okay.
The problem with this is the time it would take to craft that.
Okay.
You're capable of making it, but it would take probably like a week of work.
So, and it would need to be like, you would say probably not magic. It would probably be more like Greeks' sort of situation where it's like all mechanical.
If you wanted to come out and do that, you'd need either someone to specifically enchant it to do that, but it is much cheaper to just mechanize that.
Okay. I was just thinking I wanted to be able to block, like, dangerous shit. You know what I mean?
You can also buy an energy shield that would attach to the same housing. Those are expensive as well, but they are available.
I like the idea of big metal. You know what I mean? That's sort of his. He's got big clunky boots, big clunky hammer.
He wouldn't think of an energy shield as a valuable shield.
No, he would think a big, thick metal thing. All right, I'll think about it.
Yeah,
if we make it together. If we make it together,
I think we probably could. Yeah, but we would need time. Let's get to Riley first, and then if you and I have like a day to fuck around or whatever, then maybe we'll make that.
Excuse me. You get to Riley's place, and it is the sign on the door says closed. It is about 20 minutes after the hours listed said opened. You knock, and it takes like a minute.
I keep
before
knocking.
You hear anything?
I knock for 1 minute.
And then you hear, all right, I'm here. You see a little like visor slot open. You don't see any eyes on the other side of it. You actually see a little mirror on the other side of it. And then it goes, oh, hell, come on in. Greeks, how you doing? And Riley opens up his stand. Riley is I have a description of Riley written down somewhere, but I keep misplacing it. Oh yeah, Riley's East Asian and a muscular. I think Riley has a. Did I ever say if Riley had a mechanical arm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
you did.
Yeah, Riley had a mechanical arm. I'm suddenly remembering.
If he didn't, he does now. Something terrible happened.
No, nothing terrible happened. He's like, yeah, it actually looks a little nicer than it did before. He says, yeah, I scavenged an upgrade and cleaned it and got it, installed correctly this time. But Riley's like, yeah, I'd heard. I got the message the other day, or I got the message from Creeper that y'all were coming.
Who?
Creeper.
Oh, right. And I look right at Peppermint. Creeper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have you heard what's happened?
Yeah. So that's bad. Do you know who's doing it?
Yep.
Yes.
Who do you take two guesses?
Someone that
Take two guesses who you think is doing it, Riley.
Well, I'd assume if it's this happening, then it's the Night Lords behind it, but who specifically? Like,
oh, well, it's probably
someone that
different.
looks like me.
yeah,
Wait, what?
My name is Tyrgix, and they're not alone.
Yeah. Something called the Armory.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, Riley, do you have anybody in this town that doesn't like you?
It's Merktown. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, are there a lot of like rootin' tootin' people here?
there's a few.
rough and
There's
tumble?
some that get pissed off that I made it to certain claims first. Scrap
Claims.
claims. If you know where a big battle's going to happen and you set up at the right place to stay out of it long enough for the battle to end, and you might be
You're
able to swoop in
scavenging.
and get some.
Yeah, scavenging. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
first come, first serve for scavenging.
Yeah, but if you're too early, I mean,
Oh.
it's not scavenging, then it's just theft, and then they kill you for that.
Oh, you stole stuff.
No, I didn't do that. I just got to someplace
Okay.
first.
I hear
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not dumb enough to risk it.
I get it.
Oh God, kid, stop that.
Okay.
I got a little touch of the foresight that sometimes puts me in the right place, but
Oh, you can see in the future?
I mean, it's kind of like a gut feeling.
Oh, okay. Who's gonna kill you?
So
that'll fix this right up.
Kid, that's not how it works.
okay, so kid, I'm not gonna stop and explain things to you.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let you know up front because I'm not trying to be rude to you, but
It's
Ivy
okay
said,
if you don't
but
know.
Creeper said you just keep asking questions.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna slow down for that.
All right. It's okay to not know stuff.
Yes, it is. So I don't know, like, Merktown's got all kinds of bad people. You got the gangs, you've got the mob bosses. I pay my protection rackets. You got the mercs. You got people coming in and out. We had
Oh, man.
vampires a bit ago that apparently got taken care of. There was an explosion in town. It's a rough town.
So-
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, 'cause-
that
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, from the people I know, I mean, the chaos is the usual Merktown chaos so far.
Yeah, things haven't been out of sorts as of late, that I can tell.
And they can use the chaos against you.
Well, they would have to create more chaos in order to get in. I'm trying to figure out just how Turgid, sorry, can
Tyrgix.
Turgid.
Tyrgix.
Yeah.
Do you
Re-
know?
Freya knows how to say things. Michelle really
Yeah.
doesn't. I apologize.
It's okay.
It happens really to all the words. And the armory is going to get in. Would
do
Freya
we know anything about
Freya's,
the armor?
Freya's been in Merktown before and lived here a while.
Yeah.
Can she figure out a way that, because they can't really walk through the front door?
Why can't they?
Because the
They're allowed
armory
in
is a
that town.
huge walking weapon.
The armory is covered
Can't
in
really
weapons.
stop them.
Yeah, it's covered in weapons. Yeah.
But they could stow those weapons or hide those weapons.
Yeah.
Smuggling things into Merktown, not the hardest.
No.
It is, in fact, surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
As easy as paying off, like, one guard.
Yeah.
You could hide him in a box. And then he pops out of the box. Or a birthday cake.
Very
Is it
big
your
box.
birthday anytime
Yeah.
soon? Riley, is it your birthday?
I
Well,
want to
what's
leave.
Birthday coming
Their
up?
Yeah, I
pattern
want-
been so far?
I did. Freya just takes out her thing and tells Danica to just look for. She gives him she gives her a description of the two.
All right, she comes back immediately with a report of one that looks kind of like the green one, but was wearing a leather jacket.
Is that ours? is that Greek's?
That's just
Was
But
he also wearing
traveling? Was traveling with someone with a big hammer,
Yeah.
but not a
Yeah,
black
it's-
I
cloud.
mean, she's good. She
Freya-
nailed it. She
yes,
got it
yeah,
right
she nailed
away.
it. She's like,
she
Freya-
did a good
Freya's like-
job.
Yes, those are my friends. I need one that looks like one like in the leather jacket, but not. And then she gives a description of the armory and the whole deal. It's like,
Yeah. She says, "I'll keep a lookout. And if it's significant, I'll bill you."
yeah. But
That's
don't.
a-
She actually says, "Don't engage."
Well, no, that's not what I
No.
do.
No, it's not.
Riley asked, how did they do it before? I want to ask Peppermint. Peppermint, your sister, right? They wanted to, because they were after your sister. Like they like to cause chaos, but they wanted to get rid of your sister, right? Like we think that was a big goal during all this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They
So-
like making it look like not them.
Yeah, and what I wanted to ask specifically was, do you think that they would change? Like, your sister is hard to find and probably hard to like get to because she's really sneaky and stuff. But Riley has a sign that has his name on it. So would they just come in here and like shoot him in the face? Because they blew up the other guy. They just blew him up.
Well, no, they made it look like an incident at the foundry with the elemental going.
But isn't
But
that what blew him up?
What
It
happened-
didn't. It looked
Yeah,
like
what
an
it is
accident, right? I get that.
They went in and they killed him, but they used the ensuing chaos of the foundry exploding and everything to just slip away. That's what they do.
Right.
So-
So the cover up is one thing, but we're thinking, how will they actually come in and just do the murder?
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe they're just gonna do you the murder. But I don't know. Is that something that Tyrgix would do? Like, you would probably know Tyrgix a little better than us Greeks. How does he? What is he? Is he smart?
Do you want to know what you remember of Tyrgix?
yeah.
Tyrgix was one of the lead scientists. You once saw Tyrgix carrying what you would later figure out was one of these special boxes full of the bits.
Ghosts.
But that was before the accident. Tyrgix is a scientist and incredibly smart. You later found some of Tyrgix's dimensional computations. You also know Tyrgix was big on telling subordinates to do stuff. So you think it unlikely that Tyrgix would do anything that they could just have someone else do. They were very much the kind of leader that is, or leader, yeah, that is very much like, I'm doing something big picture. So just handle this thing I tell you to do.
Right.
Because I'm focusing on something larger than this.
they wouldn't get their hands dirty,
Probably not.
if all possible.
Okay. Well, wait, did you know him really well?
It feels like I might have. But
Can I try to see if there's a string connected to him and Tyrgix? Like, how many strings come off of Greeks?
A number. Fewer than most other people.
Where do they go?
The tightest string on Greeks is kind of wrapped around their midsection. The other strings tend to go out towards their equipment.
Okay.
Greeks has a very strong connection to basically every mechanical object.
Oh shit.
Okay. Not like a super strong, but has like a weak connection that they could potentially,
more of a connection than one of us would have. Yeah.
Like any computer Greeks walks by, they're at least going to have a string connecting them briefly to it.
Do any of the strings go out the door?
A number of them run off. The strings don't follow physics.
One I would imagine goes towards. So they're just sort of like.
Yeah.
Oh shit! So I can't like follow it like a path, right?
Well, you could, but they get harder to see the further away from the endpoints.
One probably goes towards his ship, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
Their ship.
Any going off in a direction that I can't see where it went?
A number of them.
Mm.
There also seems to be what kind of feels like a cut thread.
Is there a way for me to investigate that further? I don't know how to. Okay. Well, you got a lot of ghost strings on you, and one of them is cut. I don't know what that means. I want to look at Riley. What kind of weird ghost strings come off of him?
Interesting.
Riley's connected to a lot in this town. This is their place, so they are strongly tethered emotionally here. There is a connection between them and Greeks. That's like a strong friendship bond.
Okay.
There's a connection that seems kind of quiet and hidden. Looking at that connection, you get the feeling that connection is a quiet connection, and you think that might be towards the conspiracy. And not all these connections, go off directly through space-time.
Okay.
Riley does have some friends in town. Doesn't have any immediate family here.
Okay. But this is definitely where they're gonna hit him. He lives here. This is where he's based out of.
He's got some connections. Yeah, this is his town. Well, this is the town he lives in. People know him here.
Okay. Well, you know what? I think it's Riley, you and Freya, you've been to Merktown before, right?
Yes.
And Greeks, you've been to Merktown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Peppermint, have you been to Merktown?
It's up to you.
Weren't we here before as a group?
Yeah.
You stopped in to get a bomb dog.
Yeah, I think that's the only time Peppermint.
The bomb dog.
Me too.
So
then you guys, more so Riley, if they were going to kill you and make it look like some sort of accident, how would they do it? What's the best way to kill you and make it look like an accident, or make it look like it was not somebody, like some sort of dark cosmic monster?
I mean, you want someone dead, you just kill him.
Right, but they probably want it to look like something else.
They're elaborate. They put on a show.
Yeah, like they didn't just hire an assassin to kill Peppermint's sister. They hired an assassin to kill someone else and dress up like Peppermint's sister.
But what from Creeper told me that was also about the other target.
Yes, they were killing too because they like chaos. Oh, they were probably helping that guy out, right? Because I think that guy had no mirrors in his house. Remember, he got rid of all the mirrors. He was definitely working with the thing. So somebody would probably be working with them and also want to kill you, or at least get you out of the way.
I mean, if you're looking to hire someone, this is one of the places that it's not hard, but life's not cheap.
I mean, should we wait and see if they just try to kill Riley and try to stop them? Should we bait them? You could dress me up like Riley, and I could stand and walk around, and I want to start like picking up junk. Is that what you do? I think that's what he does.
Yeah, but how would you do that?
Dress up like you and then wait for them to try to kill me, and then everybody's ready to kill them. Riley, your phone's ringing.
Sorry, my getting a communication. Yeah. 17 4. I'll pay you 50. All right, bye. I don't know. If you want to kill me, just try to kill me. I'm not an assassin.
I mean, they might just do that. I don't know. You know, I don't know. This isn't really my bag, man. I don't know anything about assassinations. Freya's.
I'm not exactly big
Freya
on
would know
booking
about
it,
that.
but...
No offense.
Is there something I could roll? Like since there's been a pattern, I've been in Worktown, and
what about Streetwise? Do you have Streetwise?
I have Intelligence.
Sorry, I'm not the DM. I don't know why.
I'm saying Intelligence seems pretty close. I don't know if there's no skill like Assassins.
I know I have Undercover Ops.
Actually, yeah, roll an Undercover Ops.
Oh.
Because that is your mental angle in.
Okay. I got a 27 under 70.
All right. So this is a guy that lives alone, goes out most nights, isn't like a super heavy drinker, but like, you know, can occasionally be vulnerable, but they live in a town where everyone's armed all the time. So if you want to take him out in town, you either do it quick and quiet, because if you do anything big, there's enough people here that will get upset. Free Quebec doesn't have too much of a functioning, or Old Bones doesn't have too much of a way of government functioning that, you know, if you are big there, you can get away with more. But if someone magically dies by like this entire house explodes, people are going to want to know why. Like if you just bombed the graveyard, there would be, or bombed the, not graveyard, the junkyard, there would be an investigation. Here's a place where an investigation will happen. And unless they're in with the Tennessee militia that run the place, there's also several magical forces here that would probably care about a big magic-based attack in their yard. So you'd probably not want to go super loud here. If you wanted to go super loud, you'd have to lure the target out.
Yeah. You know, this is Marktown. Big will draw attention. This might be a quick and quiet.
You think it'll be like a sneaky assassin?
Yeah, because there are a lot of magic people, so if something magical happens, if this place blows up, even though yes, there are gangs and mobs and everything, if this place blows up, it's going to get an investigation. People, you know, Merktown, like I said, is chaotic, but there's still rules and people who want to make sure they know what chaos is happening. There will actually be an investigation here, not like in Old Bones. There will be an investigation here.
Well, if it's going to be a sneaky assassin, who do you think they would use? I don't know any assassins.
The list is longer than anyone knows.
Yeah.
A lot of options.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
shit.
there's more assassins than there are, dimensions. Who knows?
Actually,
How do you draw out a sneaky assassin? I mean, they're probably good at their job, right?
well, one of the ways you do it, what assassins do is they research
Yeah.
the target thoroughly.
So who's been looking into you?
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing
Has
that
someone come
that
around
Michelle
a lot?
might have a skill for. Let me see.
Yeah, this sounds like a Freya job right here.
I don't have Freya's character sheet easily on hand. There it is. No, wait. Freya. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Intelligence might work. Tracking people might work here too. You know what? Roll on your ID undercover agents.
An 8.
So you rolled an 8. Riley does have a ton of security cams set up. And going through them real quick, with Greeks' help, because Greeks can process them so much faster than anyone else, you discovered that they've had 2 people. Riley's had 2 people come in occasionally and look at some things, but only buy like a minor thing or two. Riley didn't find them memorable, but that's a mark of someone who's probably doing their job well. But often show up on security cams walking past at different times. It looks like Riley's been under surveillance for at least a week by these 2 people. One of them is a middle-aged woman. Actually, I'm going to put her a little older than middle-aged. She's an old woman with long white hair and wearing coveralls. That looks to be some kind of mechanic. And a younger African-American gentleman who is dressed in a suit. Though he shows up in different clothing on the surveillance at least twice.
Yeah.
The woman is always in coveralls.
Yeah.
You can't get a good view of the coveralls because the cameras are crap.
Yeah.
But you might be able to, if someone does something interesting to, investigate the signal more, might be able to make out some kind of logo.
What if
Freya?
did they touch anything?
Yeah, Freya
And then
points out who. It's like that person, that person, that person. Yeah, those 2. Yeah, Riley, about a week. They're good. You didn't notice.
Well, yeah, I mean, they weren't, I don't remember them much. Like,
That's the point.
I was looking for a catalytic converter. I had 2 of them.
Did they touch anything? Because I think Greeks can smell them on stuff. Greeks, can't you give it a taste and figure out what's going on?
Well, that's not exactly how it works, but maybe.
Okay.
I mean, you're more than welcome to touch it. The other catalytic converter.
They didn't buy it?
There was one, I gave them a higher price on the one that was better in better equipment. They had different outputs, and I told them that, but they didn't seem to care. They bought the cheaper one.
They touched both though.
Yeah, they probably touched the other one, he says. And so you can, most likely, if you want to use your power on it, go ahead and use your power. Where's my source book? That's not what I need. I just need the straight book so I can read the power.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have... Where's my...
Peppermint, do you have any anti-poison stuff?
Does Freya have any anti-poison things?
I know you,
Peppermint
I know
definitely
you
has
have
anti-poison
poison
Yes.
things. I know you are good at poisoning people, but I was just wondering if peppermint,
I mean,
just in
I have
case.
the skill where I could probably brew up some medicines to counter poisons.
And you've got, yeah,
And I can brew the poisons.
Maybe it's great. That's very good.
all right, so let me look up.
Maybe
the
we should
power
give Riley some like
60s.
poison be gone, just in case they,
Actually, I had
case
my
he's-
liver replaced a couple of years ago.
With what? Another liver?
Bioprocessor.
Oh, so you
there we
can't
go
be
then.
poisoned?
Well, I mean, it'd probably be hard to do, but it's not really something that shows.
Huh.
All right, there's object read.
Like a space marine.
We got 36.
Object regarding history and last owner. Owner is the key word there.
Yeah.
So what'd you get, a 36, you said?
Yep.
All right, you do get an image of them haggling with Riley, not entirely successfully, but it seems like they give up pretty easy in the haggling. The person haggling them is the woman, and she is wearing a coveralls. Let me find a suitable business. And her coveralls are actually have the logo of the Merktown power plant. They do healthy business manufacturing miniaturized nuclear power plants and generators for robots, etc.
Does she have any scars or tattoos?
She had a round face. She wasn't tall. She didn't have any tattoos, but she did have scarring on her both of her hands that looked to be from burns. Yeah.
Could I tell if it does it look like
If
This
you saw
woman's-
this woman again, you would know her.
yeah. Does it look like she's wearing a disguise or
Not so much. The coveralls fit her dead on, so it doesn't seem to be like a cheap disguise.
like so what from what I can tell she's actually a old woman.
All right.
It's not like a young woman pretending to be old.
No, you don't see any makeup. You don't. That's what you meant by disguise. No, she appears to be wearing a uniform that fits. She's wearing a tiny bit of makeup, but no more than you see someone going to work in at a power plant. She looks appropriately aged. Nothing in your psychic vision of it. It comes through very strongly because you rolled well enough that you get a good look at her, and either her makeup is like top level, or like her disguise makeup is top level, or she's not wearing a disguise.
Yeah, so Merktown power plant.
All right.
Could be
And with
someone
that-
there.
Yeah, and with that detail, I think we're gonna go ahead and take our break.
Alrighty. Now we get to go blow up a power plant.
No,
Oh,
no,
Yes.
we're not.
Yes.
No, we're not.
we got the bomb, the dog bomb.
We got the bomb dog. We can go
We
get
know
him
the
again.
dog
Another one.
bomb did his job and then went away. We don't
We
have the bomb.
can. We know where we can go buy him.
Hire
We're
another
not
one.
built. We're not blowing up a building. That will again investigation.
Merktown would kill us so
Yeah.
fast.
Yes.
We'd be dead so fast.
Merktown security is not to be messed
No
with.
joke.
If for nothing else, because they have a good number of people.
Yeah.
They're the biggest gang in the city.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mhm.
We'll be back.
All right. Yep. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yep,
10
enjoy
minutes or so.
the art and the music, and make sure to get up and stretch and all the things, and we will see you in a little bit. Bye.
Bye.
And we are back. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody. So our group of heroes has gone to Merktown to try to prevent an assassination of a friend of theirs named Riley. The big hulking monstrosity that killed their other acquaintance should be getting here in about half a day. But there is a hard knock, knock, knock on the door. To where you are all hanging with Riley.
Open it.
No, hold on.
open
Freya dips.
Check the security cam.
Yeah.
All right, you
I
check the
open it.
security
I
cam
open
and
it.
you see there is a guy. There's a guy with blonde hair in kind of a anime updo a bit. He is incredibly pretty. He is very pretty. And standing next to him is Starissa. He's wearing kind of an armored plate under a trench coat.
Do I recognize this person?
I don't think you've seen them before.
Okay, thank God. you panicked me there for a minute. I was scared. That's kind of what he looks like. So I was like, oh, I do not open the door. All right, I open the door.
Hi.
Hey, Starissa. How you doing?
Hey.
Good. I found you guys.
Yeah, I told you we could track him down.
Hi, I'm Kid,
Hi.
and I offer my hand.
Ren 6 Hal, pleasure to meet you.
Ren 6 Hal?
Yep.
Did we meet
Yeah.
him?
In the other game.
In the other game, that's what I thought.
And in the one shot.
Is
But
he
he is a friend of Starissa and Jedis.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for helping Starissa out. We appreciate it.
No problem. I got a couple of days.
Cool.
It was an
Hey.
easy ride down from where I live.
Where do you live?
Places.
That's cool. Do you know anything about assassins?
Yeah.
Nice. Starissa, is he a nice guy?
He's a real nice guy.
I trust your judgment. 100%.
I'm kind of a hero.
Okay. Well, I don't know what it means to be kind of a hero, but that's cool.
It
I
means
guess.
I'm a hero.
Okay.
Starissa, is
Are
he
you sure?
actually
You
a
didn't
hero?
sound so sure.
Yeah. Freya
He
comes out.
is.
What did he
Okay.
do, Starissa? I was like, yeah,
He
nice.
killed vampires, and we saved a town. And what else
Nice.
did we do? What did there was
There was
another
those
one?
goblins that one time.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
We've been
we
on a
helped
couple
them.
adventures.
Yeah, and we helped those goblins get some farming rights.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So even boring hero stuff is still hero stuff. Some of the most important heroic stuff is boring. Just like some of the most vile evil is boring. All right.
Okay.
Well,
Okay, anyway,
we're gonna be
we are-
fighting assassins soon.
Yeah, we're trying
Are
to save
we?
Riley. Yes.
All right, Riley is. Hi.
Yeah, they're gonna kill this
Starissa.
guy.
Oh, you haven't met Starissa. Yes, Starissa, Riley, Starissa.
Hi, Riley. I'm gonna go up and try to hug him.
Please don't.
No.
He puts a metal arm in between the two of you. He's like, no, it's just I'm not much of a
Okay.
hugger.
I awkwardly
even-
put out my
Not a
hand.
He tentatively shakes it a little. Rensix just kind of nods at him from across the room. He gives the head nod. That is the sign of acknowledgement. He's like, so Rensix says, so you're just gonna wait for the assassin?
No, we have a lead on one of the, let's say, monitors. He's been under surveillance for a week. He didn't
Okay.
know it. They're good.
Okay.
So are we going to get him?
No.
Oh.
We're gonna do counter surveillance?
Yes.
Should somebody should somebody stay here and try to keep Riley alive?
I can
That
do
would
that.
be good. Yes.
I can do that.
Okay.
He's
you wouldn't
really
mind doing that?
good.
wanna suddenly get very like realize something and then try to look as nonchalant as possible and then go, hold on, I dropped something. And then I want to walk around over to where Freya is and I want to lean over to Freya, like again, nonchalantly.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go, what if he's the assassin in disguise? What do we... Should we catch him?
Starissa, it's really great to see you. Did I tell you how proud of, did Starissa tell you about her adventures with us?
I told him
yeah.
a little.
A bit, not everything, but I respect that.
I told him about our caper and about our dance party, and when I was Sally, and I told her about Jenna going into the floor and pulling the robot guy into the ground, and
Yeah, I've seen her do something like that. Oh boy.
Sorry if you guys can hear my girlfriend yelling at my dogs in the background.
I think we're at the point where if Starissa vouches for someone, Starissa has vouched for someone.
This
Okay.
dude has a calming aura. Like, being around him seems to, like, this is a dude that puts others at ease when he wants others to be at ease. It is actually an effect that his mood tends to reflect outwards. Kind of like an emotional bleed outwards. And in the wrong circumstances, it can be terrifying, but it seems, everyone's chill right now and he's being extra chill. Let me just look up a thing real quick. I think I've got that book to reference if I need it. But anyway, he's like, yeah, I can stay here. I'm just one man, but I'm me, so that counts for something.
I look at Starissa. Does that count for something?
yeah, he's pretty awesome. I've seen him fight lots of people all by himself.
I do specialize in groups, but I'm also I'm very good with a sword, and he summons a Psy sword. And then
See?
Mime's putting it away like he has a holster in his back, but he does not.
He helped teach me some of psionic powers when I was first starting out as a mystic.
Yep, big brain. She's real good at it.
Yes, she is. All right, let's go find an old lady in some overalls.
Overalls.
Overalls, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay here. So that's about equally exciting.
Yeah.
So you know where this woman potentially is. And as you go, the rest of you fill in Starissa on the stuff that happens. Starissa, you went with Jeddah, stopped at a place called Psyscape, which is a secret psionic town where Rensix lives. And he brought you back down here. Jeddah had said she needed to check on something out west. And basically just flitted off like she does.
Yep.
She said she'll be back.
She always says she'll be back.
She left Bert with you, but you can't find Bert now.
Oh.
She tries to leave Bert with you every time.
I lost Bert.
But here's the thing, you know you didn't lose Bert because every time you later see her, it turns out Bert just went with her anyway.
One of these times he's going to stay.
Okay.
Sure.
I just thought of something. So the group of you make your way to the power plant. The power plant here is an old nuclear uranium enrichment facility that they retrofitted and reverse engineered. It's been producing fuel for nuclear generations for power for generations now, and is one of the biggest businesses in Merktown. It is guarded by no less than a mech on each corner, like a full-size 30-foot tall robot on each corner. Because what they do is they sell the nuclear power containers. They basically are the people that sell batteries for 30-foot tall robots. They do a lot of business with Golden Age weaponsmiths who will take like a Sherman tank, rebuild it out of MDC materials, and jam a nuclear power plant into it. This is where they get the nuclear power plants from.
Are the robots that are in front of Dwelmer, do they run on this kind of power, or are they just purely
those
magic?
are magic.
Okay. Cool.
But any non-magic robot is likely to have a nuclear power.
Like Glitter Boys?
Glitter Boys run on a nuclear power cell.
Yeah, okay.
And they are not cheap. They tend to go in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. And being able to produce them is lucrative as hell. So this place has a lot of security. Because they're also expensive as hell, some people might think they can come and take them. So they've got a big show of force out front. So you got there in the morning. It's about midday. We'll say it's about lunch break time. There is a whistle that hilariously goes off to signify that it is lunch break at the plant. A number of people come out of the plant, and you do see one of them with a stereotypical bucket and hard hat. Does appear to be this old lady. She heads off to a local cafeteria and buys lunch.
Should we like
We're
go
tailing her,
talk
right?
to her? Or...
What the Freya's take? We want to take.
Yeah, I don't think I should be on the recon mission.
Is there any way for Freya to blend in? Freya has disguise.
Yeah. What do you want to blend in as?
A regular worker.
Doing if you're not
Force.
trying to get into the power plant, that's you can just look like a worker. That's basically not even a role. If you're looking to get into the power plant itself, that will be far more difficult. But if you just want to look like someone else on their lunch break,
Yeah.
easy enough. You've got the wardrobe to easily, worker bee, to look like a worker bee.
Yeah. Is it one of those like it seems kind of crowded? I got my lunch, looking for some place to sit, and
Yeah, you can make that
yeah,
happen.
and then she just kind of happens to have a space open, and it's like, you mind?
Oh, no, go right ahead.
Yeah, how you doing today?
Good, you?
Fine. I've kind of new. How long have you been here?
Oh, 40 years-ish. Coming up on 40 years.
Oh my.
Yeah. Find a safe place in this world. Find a good place that pays you well enough. You take it. Where are you from?
Freya answers in a very believable place that I don't know, but yeah.
What kind of place? Do you want to be from, like... Well, I guess it doesn't really matter in the long run, but you give her a backstory that is believable. Roll believability.
Okie dokie. I got that.
Yeah, that special skill you have for lying to people. Lie to people.
I got 56 under 73.
All right, you put together a cover story that is completely believable. She doesn't seem to find any holes in it. She doesn't seem to really double down on anything.
Okay. my mind blank. I know this is
Yeah.
one of those weird things where your character would know a whole bunch of stuff, what to do and
Yeah.
how to get the cool information.
So, what information are you looking to get?
Would like to know her name, what's it like working at the plant?
All right. Her name is Leary Bennett. She's worked at the plant a long time. Working at the plant's nice because they pay her well. And, you know, they make good money there.
Yeah, just sort of like chit-chatting and all this type of stuff. And then wants to you know, one of the reasons why I left where I was, there were some weird people that were coming in town, and wasn't so, it was just kind of weird, but they started talking about something kind of interesting. I don't know, it's been giving me something kind of to think about. Have you heard anything about like people worshiping midnight and all that type of stuff? I was just kind of wondering if it was like local.
Well, what did you think about it?
I thought it was fascinating. So
roll an interrogation. Because interrogation isn't always like
light in the face.
An episode of 24. Interrogation is getting information out of someone.
Mm-hmm. 45 under 65.
All right. With this, she tells you get out of her through the course of this conversation that she has heard of the Church of Midnight and knows a thing or two about it. And if you want to know more, she tells you where to go tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not a big thing. It's just a couple of us. But, you know, it's a real relief on the mind.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Where's the meeting?
She gives you the location. It is just outside of town. About 2 miles out of town, not that far from when the train dumps you off. In an old abandoned church. Or the remains of an abandoned church. She does tell you to bring an umbrella in case it rains.
Okay. Oh, and Freya gave the name of Lynn.
Okay. Just gonna cross that out so I don't think it's anything special, but it's there if I need it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
That way I don't go, who the fuck was Lynn?
Yeah.
She says she'll meet you there tonight. That you should swing by.
Thank you.
And then she heads back to work unless anyone has anything else.
Oh, let's go crash that church meeting.
All right. The rest of the day goes with no super, alarms or anything. Ren 6 is totally happy to hang around with Riley. They seem to get along fine.
What is Ren 6's weapon?
A psionic sword. He also has a big fuck off laser pistol. But
cool. Okay. Simple. I like it.
He showed you the psionic sword. If you ask Starissa about it, she knows that he also has a psionic shield.
Ooh.
And he is incredibly fast and psionic.
Okay, cool. Sounds handy.
Yep.
Should we like prepare it all before we go? Are we going to go right to this church meeting, do you think?
unless you all have something else to do. I was gonna say there's not any alarms coming through. You get a couple of reports of someone green coming into town, but you catch every report of someone green. No one's got a big hulking suit of armor with them.
I want the Greeks will hack the security system
All right, that is
Of-
tough to do here, but possible.
of the power plant.
Oh, of the power plant, or of the town's walls.
No, just the power plant.
Okay, that is
Just
going to
wanna see-
be very difficult. So you hack the security system. Give me a roll on your hacking.
It's a 21.
Okay, that's far enough under your score that you still succeed. Because I was putting a negative 20% on you. But you're definitely skilled enough to do this. You get into the system. You don't have like controls of the individual nuclear processing units. They keep those air gapped for a reason. So you can get basically all the information, but you couldn't say cause a massive explosion. But you find Leary Bennett's employee file. She has in fact worked there for about 40 years. She is a floor supervisor now. There is a reports of an industrial accident in which she hurt her hands on basically trying to pull a fuel rod out to keep something from melting down. And like good to middling reports of employee reports. She doesn't file a ton of complaints. She doesn't besides that one thing, she got a commendation and a lot of, heavy workers' comp for.
Right.
She kind of isn't like everyone there knows her. She seems to be just, a person.
Does it look like just want to go through some camera footage to look for any recent changes in her behavior, like her routine on camera, at least as far as I can.
Do you by chance have speed reading?
I think so.
All right, so spend the PowerPoint for speed reading, and I'll just apply it to the camera. Over the last couple of months, her behavior's been mostly the same. You do see her seeming a little more peppy recently. But there doesn't seem to be any major changes in her behavior. You get the impression from this, you see no indication, that's the word, indication that she is any kind of doppelganger or replacement person. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She doesn't go to lunch with anybody. You do see that pop up in her employee reports that she's a bit of a loner. Yeah, no major incidents in her recent work history. There was someone that came and visited her once, and it was the young black man in a suit. But he did not. The footage is of them meeting outside. There's no record of a name for him.
I share all this. So it looks like these assassins are very good at hiding themselves, their intentions.
You're kind of getting the thing that she's not an assassin.
No, she's a scout.
If Ren 6 is there when you're discussing this, it's probably worse than that. She's probably a believer.
Yeah. Yep.
I've dealt with a mad religious cult or two in my day. Some kind of weird necro demons. Don't worry about it. We took care of it.
Riley, have you ever been to this church?
No, I don't. I'm not a churchgoer. My mom was more religious than I am, but anything that wasn't basically Catholic, she hated. I mean, if you want a dozen Our Fathers, I could just pop that off real quick. Learn to do those real fast. But I haven't asked about churches. I've not heard of this church. No one's handing out pamphlets from the sound of it.
No, it's always slow to roll out.
That probably wasn't their plan to try to lure you out there, right?
Well, I mean, you want to lure me to church? Tell me what's in the basement. Don't offer me salvation. Offer me salvage.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was going to trap me, I guess I'd just down some kind of sky bike and tell me where it is. I haven't been getting too much reports of salvage lately. I've been getting scooped. So I'm a little dry right now. So a big hit would be nice.
Has the same person been scooping you?
Yeah. I keep getting scooped by the Heelan brothers.
Do what I know of them?
The Heelan brothers were a bunch of jerks who were also scavenge guys, but they were not as good or organized as Riley. They also had a reputation for, not always doing salvage so much as, if the target was weak enough, they would just take what they wanted. But they would only do it if the target was extremely weak.
How long have you been getting scooped?
Well, only about 2 months.
Has something changed about their pattern or the way they do business?
Not that I can tell. They just get in there first. It's like there's this one time I could have sworn they knew the coalition patrol was going to come through that area and attack that caravan. And so, that's the only way they could have been there so fast is if they knew that coalition patrol was coming. And that patrol came out of nowhere. From what I heard, I wasn't, not many people made it through that.
Somebody's tipping them off.
Probably.
Or somebody's using them.
Or perhaps maybe they're believers. It would be interesting to see if they're a couple of believers.
There's a lot more people that know about these Night Lords than I thought there would be.
They don't know about them. They just think it's a religion.
Well, it's their gods, right?
No, they don't mention them. They talk about it.
They just worship nighttime?
Not just nighttime. They worship the midnight, the absence of the dawn. It's just,
last time you saw a church full of them, they were worshiping basically a painting that was storing up PPE.
Yep.
Oh, if there's another one of those paintings, we should probably destroy that too.
Yeah.
All right. Are we going to burn another church?
Let's try not to.
I mean, if it's an evil church.
All right. So your plan is to go scope out the church.
Yeah. I plan on going in.
I can go with you. I can put on my Sally skin.
Yeah. You can be.
Riley
Yeah.
makes a face when you say Sally skin.
Yes.
And
You can-
Rensis goes, it's not what you think.
You can be my little sister.
Yay!
Because I'm Lynn. When I go, I'm Lynn.
Cool. What do I get to still be Sally, or should be someone else?
If you want to be Sally, you can be Sally.
Okay. Because I can remember that.
I vote for
Nice.
Sally.
Sally's good. Just now you're my little sister.
Awesome.
So me and my little sister are going to go to church.
All right. Is anyone going in as backup? What do you don't plan on this turning into a fight? You're not like bringing Ren 6 and Riley in power armor? Because Riley's got a Samus.
Oh,
Wow.
Maybe as we need a perimeter. So it would be great if we could have a.
I think
Yeah,
we should
that'd be-
probably keep Greeks hidden just in case that guy's around and he might see him.
Kyrgyx.
Yeah, just in case he's watching from somewhere. I can stand outside.
Well, we don't want to draw attention. So,
I can stand inside.
okay.
I can stand to the side.
How about you just stand to where you're
Oh.
hidden?
No, I could be sitting across the street on a bench reading a newspaper.
Why would you be reading a newspaper
Yeah.
at midnight?
at
To
midnight.
look
Midnight.
incognito.
Oh, God,
Maybe
kid.
I'm weird.
Kid.
Well, yeah, you are.
I
can
just
Riley,
feed pigeons.
but like,
haven't just when I think you've learned from all these months together.
Mm-hmm.
kid, how do you
I have.
handle speed? Says Riley.
I don't do drugs.
Do you know what a G-force is? What's the fastest you've ever moved?
That's the thing inside of you.
How important is it that he not black out?
At this point,
Because we can set up a radio signal where I can be in the area with him and move him in real quick if you need.
Oh yeah, you can just
Perfect.
throw me.
yeah, perfect.
I'm pretty
I can,
hardy.
I can just throw you.
Kind of like through walls and stuff.
I'll keep
I'm
it under
pretty
Mach
sure.
1. I don't want to break the sound barrier.
Yeah, as long as I have time to put my helmet on. If
Oh,
you
you're
tell
going to
me
have your helmet on before I take off.
Then I'll be
Otherwise,
fine.
You're going to be killed by bugs.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, I could do that. Oh, you could like fly like a little airplane, and then you could drop me like a bomb.
Yeah. Guess
Yeah,
good.
that's actually kind of awesome. I'm definitely okay with that.
Rensix goes, I'll be nearby, but I'm not that fast. So
Maybe you could be across the street on a bench reading a newspaper.
why would I do that?
Because that's
Just-
what sneaky people do.
Just
Which
what
is why you don't
spies
do
do.
it.
You could also wear a trench coat.
Or
You could be
hear
three
me
people
out.
in a
You know
trench
what,
I
coat.
could
Kid.
be behind a wall.
Yeah.
I could be
reading
in
a newspaper.
not sight.
yeah.
I could be there's this thing called hiding.
But what if
Yeah.
they expect you to be hiding?
Kid,
Then I'll
Right
just be
now-
better at it
oh
than
my
them.
God.
Anyway,
kid, it's like, are you just being facetious or have you just really forgotten everything in the past few
You don't
months?
have to make up words.
Oh.
all right.
Well,
Well, Peppermint, do you want to hang back with me, or do you want to go up to the church, get a little closer? I think I can get us pretty close without being noticed, but it depends on what they got. Says Rensix.
I'll hang back. I tend to stand out in certain environments.
What, like ruined churchyards with overgrown ruined churchyards?
I guess maybe not there, but I'll hang back. It'll be best then.
Cool, I'll hang back with you. Ren 6 is being charming. You can feel he's being charming. Gets a little bit of a glint in his eye. And it's like, so do you play solid? Do you play cards? Gotta do something to pass the time.
I've played cards once or twice.
All right. He walks you through a couple of fun card games that are. He basically teaches you spit. Now the thing is, he's like, okay, I'm gonna try to turn it off, but I'm real quick. And once or twice you catch him slapping down before the card is placed, and he's like, "God damn it!" Because his psychicness. Greeks, you can easily, since everyone's leaving town, you can easily requisition your bike back, which makes you almost as fast as the Samus.
Okay.
You're restocked on everything you need to be restocked on. Because anytime you stop at Riley's, he's going to restock you on any ammo you needed.
Oh, perfect.
All right. So, the church is at 11 o'clock. They want you to show up around. She told you to show up around 11:15. The church is dead quiet out there. The night is a little foggy. It is dark and brooding. There are cicadas making noise. There's some local wildlife. You hear some kind of howl off in the distance, which might be some kind of, they call them bass wolves, because their howl is basically like the deepest bass note. People love to sample it for music. But you hear some of them off in the distance, but not close. As you get towards this place, you see it is a town that is basically shattered. There is remains of buildings down Main Street. Main Street has been somewhat cleared, but it looks mostly cleared by like glitter boy footprints. And you see some scorching along the edges that indicates a burster might have been through here to do a careful burn while making their way through recently. But it doesn't look like this place has been specifically sculpted. The church is way overgrown. 2 of the walls remain, the front and side walls. There's half the back walls still there, and there's still a few pews. I don't know if everyone's played a Fallout game, but if you go into a burnt out church in Fallout, that's roughly what you're seeing. A few pews, a layer of just about a foot of dirt on the ground, a podium up front. There's a couple people as the 2 of you approach. And it's not long before someone comes out with a flashlight. You see a number of overgrown gravestones. You hear a crow. And coming down the road is Leary.
Hi.
Oh, hey, and who are you?
It's my younger sister, Sally.
Hi.
Pleasure to meet you, Sally. I'm Leary.
Hi.
I heard you all were interested in finding a little salvation or a little solace in the world.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. So let's go on in. There's only like 2 or 3 more people showing up. If they can even make it. But I think it's important to get together once a week if you can.
Indeed.
A burden shared is a burden lent, or something. I forget the saying. Must be my years. She walks you into the church. There, she opens the door instead of walking around. The door is creaky as hell, but still opens. It looks like some path has been cleared here. There's like a road down the middle. And she says, so just hang here. The preacher should be out in a couple of minutes. It's real impressive how he shows up.
Interesting.
He just shows up.
You'll just have to see it. It starts to rain a little bit. Did you, in fact, bring an umbrella?
Yes.
All right. You pop your umbrella up. The rain pours down. And you see two identical men walk in. They look like... It's basically Mario and Luigi. Without the hats. And also if they had just been punched in the face a million times. They're humans. They're kind of tannish skin. They look burly from lifting. But they don't come over or say anything to you. If you had to guess, you'd guess that was the Healing Bros, because you heard they were identical. And then there's one other person who's there, looks wearing just like a bunch of traveler's clothes, looks like barely more than rags anymore. You can smell the alcohol on them from here.
Ew.
It looks to be a young black man. And at around midnight, a cloud goes over the moon. And standing at the pulpit is a man in a long black robe with long, he looks like Rasputin, bald-headed, long beard. And he goes, "Welcome, my friends, to the Church of Midnight. Once again, I know most of you, but to our new friends, I'm Father Easton. And I've come to you on this night of great things. The future is before us, and we know that we will find the solace we need in the darkness. Too long do we stare into the light, and it blinds us to our own needs, to what the world's doing. We need to, and in the darkness, we find our better way." It's completely dissimilar from the last Church of Darkness meeting you went to. That was like people giving up their things. This is just him giving a sermon, pretty much talking about how things like society and evil forces try to hold you back, and you allow them to hide what light you have. And so if you can control the darkness, then you can reveal your light. And as he says control the darkness, you can see like the shadows behind him are moving unnaturally. Starissa, it's clear he's using a shadowy magic.
Okay.
This is not something you know how to do, but it is straight up. If you had to look at it, again, you would straight up call it shadow magic. He is kind of animating the shadows behind him in the moonlight to emphasize points. It's not the most complex magic, but it is magic nonetheless.
I whispered to Freya, let her know. using magic to do this stuff with the shadows.
I wouldn't have caught that. Good eye.
It's sometime through his sermon until about midnight. He says, "This is a especially portentous night, as I have extra worshippers with me." And walking into the back of the church is a small green man who looks a lot like Greeks, but is clearly not. Does not wear sunglasses. Wears a long, not exactly wizard robes, but kind of somewhere between a science lab jacket and a wizard robe. With a banded collar on it. The sign for evil scientist. And I forget if I said he wasn't the one with catfish whiskers. That was the other one. Or this one. They have kind of a more froggish, a little larger mouth with kind of flatter teeth than Greeks. And their eyes are a little bigger on them. A little more bulging. I don't know if I said they have like a little bit of tentacle, like not tentacle, but growth on the chin. And standing next to them is just a large hulking blackness. At which point Leary just like breathes in startled. The two of you who can see it, roll a save versus horror factor.
20. Oh, that's D20, right?
Yep.
14.
13.
Okay, you both beat it, so you are startled but not terrified by this thing. He says, "These envoys have much to teach us about the darkness and the path that we can follow to a greater future." Again, the sermon goes on for about 10 more minutes, unless you radio any information back.
Do I see any of the weird shadow stuff on the outside?
You're trying to first give me a stealth roll, Greeks.
49.
49. All right. Which I believe is a success for you. You've got very good sensors.
Yeah.
You didn't see these two approach. They just kind of appeared there as well, but there wasn't magic. Starissa didn't notice the burst of magic when it happened. They kind of somewhat materialized. But you can kind of see them as they appear. Your sensors are picking them up as soon as they're fully there. But it took a minute. Like, there was no approach, but when anyone else can see them, your sensors can see them. Are you doing anything, Greeks?
I was going to at midnight. I was going to use presence sense and see aura.
All right. So now that they're here, you use presence sense, which does tell you there is a powerful supernatural force in the area. There's also some kind of lower level magic happening. The sea aura around the void thing shows a lack of being. Again, it is kind of a dead space. It's different. You've seen this psionically, how it's kind of like part of the image that was corrupted. Here you see it as a void of information. There is no information about this thing in your sea aura. Your present sense isn't directly detecting individual things. You don't have the kind of present sense that pinpoints locations, but you think it might be picked up on your present sense, but you can't see its aura. Seeing aura allows you to see the Shadow Mage, which is the preacher of Father Easton. Father Easton has some magical power, but it's all shadowy. His aura has kind of like a spear of shadow jutting through it. As though it didn't come from him, but was placed in him, maybe violently. The aura on Leary Bennett is kind of neutral, if a little sour, is the best way to put it. The Heelan brothers have an aura of bad people, but people. They are, I said bad people, but they are people. Who else was there? The person dressed in vagabond robes has kind of a sharp aura, but that's all you're really getting from them. Oh, you're picking up a couple of supernatural powers.
Freya's hoping to hold off on the signal to hear if they say anything. Like, are they just going up to the preacher and just standing there, or
they're just standing in the back while the preacher's doing his thing? And the preacher then goes into talk about how those things that the preacher asked of his people recently, they have come to see through, and we have done them a great service, and I have asked for them to be here as a service to all of us, to remind us of the might of darkness that we can find and use. And it seems like Leary is kind of shaken by this. The Heelan brothers are bad people, so they kind of like the power. He goes on for another 5 to 10 minutes unless something happens.
Well, Freya is just going to be, well, are they just standing there?
Yeah, they're just kind of standing there in the back looking around like, why are we here?
Yeah. I'm going to do the kid thing and make faces at him.
T-Rex goes, why are we here? And the big one goes.
Freya then's going to realize they're getting itchy, and then she's just going to signal, we have to get them now before they leave.
All right. The signal goes out to act. Peppermint, you and Ren6 were chatting, just like he's a fun person to spend time with.
Okay.
But unless you show any indication you're into him, he's not gonna like push anything. And my guess is no.
No.
Okay, so yeah, he's just having fun hangout time. As soon as he tried being flirty and got no response, he just didn't try it again. But he's actively gives off an aura of, hey, this doesn't have to suck while we wait for this thing. But it does mean you're a little bit further away. So as soon as the signal goes up, he says, all right, let's go. And he has a hover scooter that's quiet. It's not as fast as his hover bike, but it's basically like a razor scooter that like he's like, just hold on to me. God, I wish this thing was slightly bigger.
Peppermint will climb on and hold on, and while we ride, I'd like to do the thing where I channel 6 ppe into my staff and make it a holy symbol?
Your staff doesn't change color. It doesn't glow. It doesn't doesn't have a magical girl transformation unless you want it to, which might be a little disruptive in this dark environment. But the heft of it feels connected. It feels like picking up a branch and knowing. It feels like the ground is with you and that you are its strength as you scoot forward. Greeks, you're closer. Kid, Riley goes, all right, put on your mask. He grabs you.
I light the hammer on fire.
He kind of is like, could you not for now?
Okay, I don't light the hammer on fire.
Thank you. He picks you up around the middle in a... You think if he tried to crush you, he might?
He's in like a power suit,
Yeah,
right?
he's in power armor with massive wings and a jet engine on the back of it.
Awesome.
He goes, hold on. Actually, he puts one hand around you and the other behind your head.
So my neck doesn't snap?
Yeah, and then just goes from 0 to 300.
I feel like my armor would probably kind of protect me from this, though.
little
Maybe not,
bit?
I don't know.
A little bit. Your armor is
Okay.
built to take hits.
Not G-force.
Not G-forces.
Speed. Okay.
So actually, roll a save against non-lethal poison, which the DC is 14 or 12.
Okay.
It's DC 12. Roll a save versus DC 12. Add any bonuses against poison or stuff like that.
Let me see.
It's just
Here it is. I
in
found the
D&D, it'd
saves.
be a straight up endurance check.
To save versus poison, yeah?
Yeah.
And I rolled a D20 for this?
Yeah.
I get a +2.
You're a hardy boy.
14 plus 2.
You made it. You do not
Hey.
pass out.
So-
he's just screaming.
Yeah. And the thing is,
Uh-huh.
beforehand, Freya's going to be like, after signal, trust me, they're going to be distracted. Because as she gets up, because she knows everything's starting to happen, she's going to like make sure like Starissa, she doesn't want Starissa to see. So it's like, don't look. And in front of the other ones, they're going to see this. Boom, Rohan.
All
So
right.
they're going to be very distracted.
Yep. So the
That
following
would be
things.
distracting.
Greeks, you are there as well.
Yeah.
I
I want to well, tell everyone over comms, like, be careful of the shadow magic.
All right. So you get that out, but then the following people have to roll a save versus horror factor. Not Starissa, a whole bunch of NPCs and Greeks.
Have they seen it enough
Failed.
times to where
He gets a +5 on it. I will give Greeks a +5 on it in this situation, but Greeks is a little on edge right now. All right, none of them made it. Father Easton, I forgot to roll for him. Father Easton does make it, and Tiergix. What's the DC on
12? It's still 12.
12? Yeah, it doesn't go up unless you like do specific things.
I got 17.
All right, so you're good. It seems like the Heelan brothers, Leary Bennett, and the other person. I'm gonna just write down a name for them. Seem all affected by it. And Tiergix seems shaken by it as well. The armory shows no indication of any response. As everybody comes streaming in, let's go ahead and roll some initiatives. We'll probably have to put a pause in this at some point because we're, getting later, but I don't want to end just yet.
Do we get? All right.
So roll a d20. All right. 19.
So Kevin,
Mm-hmm.
the D20 for initiative,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. You want or you do not want to get a natural 1 in riffs?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, I did get a natural 1 for initiative. So can we say that I very comedically slam through the ceiling and like plow through a bunch of the pews or something like not?
We'll get to there. We'll get
Okay,
there.
cool. Or I go through one window and out the other window, like weak.
Yeah, there are
There's
somewhat stained glass. There's like not stained glass, but like iron windows.
Like
yeah.
I'm imagining, like, you know, the big window that's behind the altar.
Mhm.
Imagine I smash through that, land, and then just go right out the door. Like, just
All right.
gone.
Did anyone get above 20?
Nope.
All right. So Ren 6 goes first. That's the benefit of being a psychic. All right. Or one of the 19, 18, 17, 16.
Rohan
16.
is 17.
Starissa. I'll actually give you Tyrgix was shaken. All right. 16, 15, 14, 13.
15.
Okay.
Freya is 13.
And what did Peppermint get?
8.
Peppermint, Kid, and then after Kid is anyone who failed their horror factor check, which is pretty much everyone else.
What about Riley? Is Riley?
Riley did not have to make the horror factor check because he's not in visual range right now.
Oh, but is he in initiative order?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
All right. Starting with Ren 6. Ren 6 scoots. Expertly scoots. On his hover scooter, getting Peppermint there. This will take his actions to get there, but Peppermint is on location. He lets the scooter just hit the ground, and in his hand suddenly is a glowing whitish yellow sword and shield. But he's standing outside the church still, ready to go when he can get in there. Rohan, you're in the middle of the church.
Rohan sees big black thing. Well,
Yep.
big void of darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Go to hit it.
All right.
21 to hit.
A sword appears in the hand of the armory.
Of course.
And 20. Okay, you hit. The hit goes to parry, catches your blade, but Rohan slides down the blade and into its armor.
$40 points of damage.
Sorry, my voice activated thing just hit the coaster. Parry catches your blade, but Rohan slides dough. How much was that?
That's 40 for the first hit.
All right. This is not a creature of night or darkness. This is not one of the Night Lord's
Right.
minions.
So it's just the regular damage bonus. Yeah. So it's still
Okay.
40.
I know Rohan is massively strong. Rohan who can chop mountains.
Yeah. This
Hits
time.
into this thing's armor, and the armor sparks.
Oh boy. Nice. 29 to hit.
Rolled a 5. Yeah, that's not enough.
$34.
34. All right. Again, massive sparks as you hit into the armor. As you're now very close to it, it's like its face is a little bit like the face of Juggernaut from X-Men, where there's slits, and you can see there's a person in there, but you can't make out anything about it.
Okay.
After
Rohan.
attempting to parry twice, Armory is going to Armory is going to first stab in with a sword at Rohan.
Okay, Rohan's going to parry.
Attempt to parry. All right, that is a 24.
I also got a 24.
All right, so I'll give it to you on this one. All right, and after the parry gets parried, swings around with a hammer. Every time Armory opens its hands, the weapon disappears, and every time it closes its hands, a new weapon is in it. And that is a 30 to hit Rohan.
Okay, yep, hits this time. Parry. Rohan can actually parry that, but I did not roll high enough.
Oh, where'd all my dice go? Oh, hey, my dice. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. A bit more. There we go. That's enough. All right. The armory hits for 39 damage with the massive hammer hitting into Rohan's scales, cracking some of the scales. The material of the weapon, it seems to be the same as the armor. The hammer, once again, emblazoned with a symbol of fire.
Okay.
Armory says, finally.
What does it say?
Finally.
Finally.
Roll a perception, actually.
As Rohan or?
As Rohan.
Oh, 18.
The voice sounds familiar to Rohan for some reason.
Huh.
Starissa.
Okay, I'm going to try something new. I want to put a telekinetic force field around Tyrgix and imprison him in it.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. So you
Okay.
spend the ISP and that happens.
Yep,
I believe Tyrgix gets a save to dodge.
at -6.
-6, and I think it's like a 16 or something.
That I'm trying to see.
I don't know how to. All right, so a natural 20 will actually do it, though. Sorry.
Darn it.
But you get another action.
Okay. The other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop up a globe of sunlight.
All right, the globe of sunlight actually makes the Shadow Mage reel back. He has to roll save versus horror factor. And rolled a 1. Great. Drop to the bottom of the initiative.
Yeah, I have a buddy.
You're actually before him because you
Yay!
rolling a 1's not as bad as failing a horror factor check.
Ooh.
Trying to remember what book the Shadow Mage is in. Doesn't matter. All right. Doesn't matter in the moment. Up next is Greeks. You are in your vehicle.
Yeah, which should have added one more to my initiative.
That's okay, but that would have
Yeah.
made you tied with Starissa, so.
I'm gonna fly by Tyrgix.
Mm-hmm.
Close enough so like they can see me. Is there any recognition from them?
There is a startled look as they are entirely surprised. There is recognition of one of your kind, but you're not sure they knew specifically who you were. Oh yeah, Tyrgix did fail horror, so would not have been able to make that dodge. So is in fact in the sphere. Sorry about that. Tyrgix is in Starissa's psionic sphere.
Nice.
But again, makes like direct eye contact with you, and has a confused look on their face, more so than anger or recognition.
And then I'm gonna fire at the armory.
All right. Take a shot. What'd you roll?
Natural 1.
Roll your damage. Because it's gonna hit Rohan.
Where is my? Let's see.
Oh, what's Rohan going to get hit with?
Lasers. Does this do anything to Rohan?
Hurt, kind of, maybe tickle.
But the numbers will factor in, be written down.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I'm taking
There's always a
damage
chance
off.
in this game that the damage is just ignored.
Wait, I don't know the damage on this. I don't have
On your
I don't have it on my sheet. It's
It's been so long.
it's in the
Vehicle description, which is in a different document.
page 175. Northern Gun 2.
Which is, I got Northern Gun 1 right next to me. All right. I don't need this right now, so let's just say it's 5d6. That's generally what it is. The
25.
sound was it 25?
Yep.
All right, I'll allow that to be halved. So 12 to Rohan. All right.
Oops, sorry.
After Greeks is Freya.
Okay, Freya knows that some heavy hitters are coming for those two, and she sees Trig get she sees Darissa do her thing, awesome. Ron's gonna do his thing and another thing. Freya's gonna take out her broom pistol and go up to the priest, cock it, and go. Who else is coming?
The priest, being confused and feared, doesn't have a clear response for you in the moment. It just continues to look kind of terrified.
Okay, so she wants to keep an eye on
staring at the globe of daylight. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, she wants to keep. So that's one of her actions, but she wants to keep the shadow priest pinned down, and also tries to make sure there are not going to be some surprises coming from like that region.
You mean from behind the altar and whatnot?
Yeah, because she doesn't know what the shadow priest has up their sleeve.
Yeah. You haven't actually met many of them.
No.
And I don't have their stats because I can't find them. I will find them in a moment. Night Lord. Nope. Oh, okay, that's the page I wanted. Dang it. Why didn't I think to look there first? Of course, it's in the main book. Anyway, Freya pins him down. He doesn't offer a ton of resistance right now. Yeah. Riley is up next, and Riley swoops in low, flying super fast. And Riley's action is going to be to drop Kid. Kid, you come flying through.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Do you know how to land?"
Yes, I got this.
Okay. And lets go of you while flying above. And as he lets go of you, you hear the sound of his railgun coming around to his arm. But that will take an action. So he hits you. You hit into a window and bounce And then give me a roll with impact check. Roll with
yeah,
impact.
I bet. Watch this be like the most damage I've taken this whole game. Roll with impact. All right, I got it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That wasn't great though. So 3 + 4.
7.
Yep. Didn't roll super great.
All right, take 4 damage directly to your hit points.
Ow, my body.
All right.
That's
Peppermint,
not good.
you are just outside the church.
So what Peppermint wants to know as what she wants to find out basically if her staff as a holy symbol has any effect on the shadow magic. Like, so she'll approach with that in mind.
All right, you come around towards the back of the church, holding up the staff as a holy weapon. This is not a vampire or someone affected by holy symbols. You think he was more stunned by the sudden appearance of basically daylight? Just give me the damn page for shadow magic. Where's the damn page number for shadow magic? Magic, how does it work? Okay, there we go. 126. Because I know some shadow magic has special friggin' rules. Of course, this isn't shadow magic. Anyway, the shadow mage is kind of stunned still, with Freya holding a gun to their head. This person looking at them, you see they have roll an arcana, not an arcana, a lore magic real quick. Okay, because this book doesn't have shadow magic.
46 out of 55.
This person is exhibiting some of the symbols and signs not known to sorcerers, not known to wizards, but to witches. Witches being a very specific thing, that a very specific type of casting that many fear and dislike, because you make a pact with an entity. This witch has made a pact with with one of the Night Lords. But besides a increase in physical beauty and a bit of aura, is mostly human. Is basically a human. May have a familiar, that kind of thing, but may not as well. Do you want to do anything? I'll give you all that as one action. Coming around, holding up the symbol. The shadows don't spring away from your symbol unless you have powers of literal light.
I mean, that is actually a good idea. I do actually have that as also a spell. So I'll cast Globe of Daylight and...
Oh, there is already one there because of Starissa. Starissa already cast one.
Oh, okay.
But you can do another to kind of pen him in, which will completely destroy those shadows on the wall.
Yeah, I think that's
right.
what we'll do.
The orb, basically, the 2 orbs have this thing lit up like it's a set. Like, there is no shadow for this dark priest to pull from, it seems. One of these days I'll have all this shit in my head ahead of time. Page 113.
I know that struggle.
Yeah. Well, I won't have it memorized, but I'll know at least I'll have my books. I'll have my books marked. Okay. And also the thing where there's this one specific thing I know existed, but things called Shadow Mages don't have shadow magic, but shadow magic is printed somewhere, but it came after, so it... No. Anyway. The DM struggle is real.
It's almost
anyway,
like they just need to consolidate a lot of their stuff in.
Will they? No. Actually, they did in the Book of Magic. But that is not who's up next. Up next is Kid. You bounce hard. Lose one action. You can take one more.
All right. So after I crash through one of the pews, I stand up and kind of a little confused and shaky. Who are the bad guys?
As you
Like,
get up and look
who can
around,
I tell are actively attacking my friends?
you see two bruisers who look against the wall, but they look terrified of Rohan. You see a woman, the old woman looks terrified. The priest is being held at gunpoint. Tyrgix is in a psionic bubble, and the armory is wailing back and forth on Rohan.
Okay. I will probably help with the robot then, if that makes sense. Yeah?
The robot?
Yeah, the big robot.
The armor.
Armory. Oh,
The armory, yeah. Is Armory not a robot?
Armory is not a robot.
No.
It's a guy in armor?
Yes.
Holy fucking shit. Okay, yeah, let's go. Because you said the other guys, the bruisers, are scared.
Yeah.
So they're not doing anything. All right, so I'm not too worried about that then. Then I'm going to go do that because Armory seems like the scariest thing to Kid. So
All right.
I'm going to and whack him in the back with the hammer. Light the hammer on fire. Bam. Hit him in the
All right.
back.
Your fire will do no extra damage.
Okay. So it's just going to be normal 3d6 instead of 6d6?
Yes.
Okay. Not a problem.
And go ahead and roll to attack first.
All right. And that's a d20, right?
Yep.
Okay. 15.
That is a 16 to parry you.
Oh, son of a bitch.
With the same hammer, which looks a lot like your hammer, kind of catches the head and bats the head away.
Oh, that's my attack.
All right. The armory makes eye contact with you. It is uncomfortable and weird.
With me?
Yes.
He turned around and looked at me?
Yeah.
Hi.
Says nothing. Tear gas.
All right. Cool.
Tyrgix goes in this bubble. Tyrgix pokes the edge of the bubble, grumpily crosses his arms and goes, I don't know if you can hear me, but I want to go home. Don't you? Does nothing else. Father Easton is still shaken, but seems to recover and goes, what do you mean what more is coming? To Freya.
With these special envoys of yours. Who else?
1,000,000 soldiers of darkness. Unfathomable depths.
Who's your contact?
It is now Rensix's turn.
Okay.
The Rensix comes in, sees a kind of like 3-person melee happening. Sees Tyrgix in a bubble, looks at you holding a gun directly to the head of the mage, and goes, nice light, and just walks over up behind the mage with his sword and shield out, and gets in a position ready to strike, but is there to support. And that's the best the best way he can support right now is to get your back against the mage. All right, Rohan.
Hit.
All right, I'll roll a parry.
32.
That'll hit.
$37 damage.
1. All right.
This time only a 23 to hit.
26 to parry. Swatch holds on to the hammer in one hand and then pulls out an axe in the other hand. A two-handed axe for most people. All right. The armory gets a go. Smiling at looks over and you can see through the little mouth a smile at Rohan, and then looks directly at Kid and is going for Kid.
Oh, there's no way for Rohan to.
Rohan can spend an action to step in between.
I'll be fine. I'm so strong.
Yeah, Rohan will trust in Kid.
All right, Kid, 15 to hit you.
Okie dokie.
You can attempt to parry it or dodge by spending an action.
I would like to. I'll parry because I get the same bonuses for each.
Mhm.
Is a dodge an instant success?
No.
Okay, right. So I get the same for parry and dodge. So I'll try to parry him.
The reason they're different is you can't parry everything like arrows.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Or explosions.
Yeah.
I got a 15. What does
All right.
that mean?
Goes to. I've been going to the defender today, so.
Hey, I
All
want to
right.
do exactly what he did to me. I want to and knock his hammer away. I go,
As you do, the axe comes up at your side
Okay. So I
with
parry
a
that.
23 to hit you.
Oh, shit. Fuck. All right. Let me try to pick. +5, ladies and gents. So
You can do it.
You can do it.
I cannot. What is 13 + 5? It is
18.
18.
Okay.
I go, haha. Ah.
All right, Kid, take. Add in the strength bonus for 20 MDC.
Okay.
Your armor is incredibly thick, and the runes of your armor flare up as the hammer hits.
I'm good. Yep.
But it looks like when the hammer hit, a tiny bit of part of one of the runes flecked off.
Ooh.
Now I'm pissed.
Starissa.
Okay, when I look at Tirgix, you said he's in a psychic bubble.
He's in your psychic bubble.
Oh, I thought he dodged out of mine.
He did, but it turns out he had failed his horror check,
Oh,
which
okay.
Armor Lord reminded me of. And he can't do that while he's in fear. So, yeah.
Okay, so there's enough room in there. I am going to try something. I am going to try to teleport in there with him.
I like it. You do it.
Okay.
You expand the bubble and step in there. And he goes, huh. Can you talk to your friend in the little pod? Do you have an earpiece or something?
I can.
Give it to me.
No.
Fine.
What's your problem? Tell me or I'll punch you.
Says, gets kind of an angry look on his face and goes, this is a waste of my time and intelligence.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I give him a little pop in the head?
You can try.
Okay. That is a 21.
You absolutely would have clocked it if you made any contact with it. Your hand goes right through him.
Ooh.
This isn't magic. You know magic. This isn't magic. Greeks, when that happens, you feel the string in your pocket vibrate more strongly than it did before. And you remember the same feeling as the world fell away and your ship was torn out of space and time. And that's where we're going to leave it for the night.
Oh,
And Creeks is next, unless So when we come back, the church fight continues.
Boy, does it.
The armory is a bad boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bad boy.
And now I'm trying to figure out who it is. 'Cause I bet it's someone we've run into.
Carve his helmet off
You can try.
and just stab him in his face.
All right.
Might have ran into him in one shot.
oh.
Yeah. You never know with Kevin's stuff. We could have met him a while ago.
Or never
just-
before.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, everybody. So thank you for
Yeah.
joining us on this adventure of Rifts, where explosions are finally on the way. As our
Despite
group-
our best efforts.
despite everyone's best efforts, things begin exploding again. All right, so let's go around and say where we can be found, starting with Peppermint, or I'm sorry, Nerdy Teddy.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Nerdy Teddy, and you can find me on Twitter at Nerdy Teddy, and you can find me in the Nerds with Dice Discord on Mondays. You can find me over on the Bardic Nox channel playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm not really doing a whole lot else right now, but we do have some games for October for some Halloween specials being set up right now. So if you want to play in them, please feel free to reach out, ask about those. Otherwise, you can find some stuff that I wrote and the link in the chat, or by heading over to Twitter and finding the link in my bio.
All right, thank you very much, Starissa, or I'm sorry, Kate. Keep doing that.
I'm Kate. You can find me on Twitter at Reverie_cutie and
All right.
here on Tuesday nights.
All right, thank you so much, Evan.
Hello, everybody. I'm Evan Jennings. You can find me on the Twitter at Evan Jennings 64. I don't have much going on right now, but I'm working on some stuff soon. So
All right, and Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle_game. I'm here on Tuesdays, and there you go.
All right, Ting.
Hi, I'm Ting. Find me on Twitter at TingTut, and I'm here on Tuesdays.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Kevin. You can find me at Bisonic Kevin. I've been your game boss for the evening. You can find my wife's amazing knitwear work at lattesandllamas.com, as well as the fantastic Geek Along sweater. And I believe they just released the Fireball socks today, which looks super awesome. All right. So, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you soon. Those games in October, I encourage you to join the Discord to find out more about them. They look to be a lot of fun, including yeah. And this Friday, remember to join us. I forgot to plug my own thing. This Friday, I'm gonna be running a one-shot of Kobolds Ate My Babies, in which babies will be eaten, kobolds will be kobolds, explosions will probably happen, magic might get cast, and bad decisions will be made. All right. So, do we have a raid?
Yep, we will be rating so many games. I believe they're playing Call of Cthulhu today.
Oh,
So, bye everyone.
see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.